Hello, 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 and welcome back to the MMA India show.
Yeah, well, he's learning from the best.
He doesn't have to learn from him. Nate Diaz has been doing that from the beginning of his career. Like he rightly said in, I forgot which UFC it was, when he beat Michael Johnson and he called him out.
Well,
he said, "You've stolen everything I own or I have, and you've taken everything away from me," because Nate Diaz has been doing that from the very beginning. Now, wait for it. Let me finish. Getting back to the press con, if you see, he got inside McGregor's head.
Yes, he did.
He got inside McGregor's head. McGregor was the one going around crazy looking for a bottle. He threw water bottle at me. He said something. Let me pick this. Let me pick that up. Let me throw it back at him. He was going crazy.
नमस्कार भाइयों और बहनों, भाई सब मेरे बहन आपके
उसमें नीट डियाज बोल रहा था कि मैं तो पार्टी कर रहा था। तो मैं सोचता कि वो वहाँ पे वो जो जीता उसका वो एक्सपीरियंस था। वेट थोड़ा सा वो सब लोग बोलते कि ह्यूज है, ये है, उसका फाइटिंग स्टाइल देखा आपने तो उसने तो मुझे ऐसा लगता पूरा जैसे मैकग्रेगर माइंड गेम करता है, तो उसने भी वही किया।
पहले तो बॉक्सिंग किया था। बॉक्सिंग मतलब बचपन से शौक था, जैसे मारामारी का शौक था बोला।
ओके, तो लड़कों को भी मारते थे या लड़कियों को मारते थे?
नहीं, लड़कों को ज्यादा।
अच्छा, ठीक है, वेरी गुड।
Chaitanya, what do you have to say about like Romero's game plan of what you saw?
No, what I see in his fight, obviously he starts slow and then he starts to explode.
Yeah.
But I think Weidman had an upper hand in striking.
Yeah.
So he was tagging him and setting up his shots. But I think Weidman did that mistake, that not setting up the shot with the punches, and he just shot on the leg. And
I've wrestled in India. I've came out to India and wrestled. You know, I've came out to Germany and wrestled. Like it's, you know, and those times are usually the process is 2-3 days just to acclimate and then go ahead and go. So
the MMA India show would like to give a huge welcome to Uriah Faber. Uriah, it goes without saying you have a lot of fans in India because we are up at 2:30 a.m. doing this interview, which shows you have like a lot of fans here. The minute we put it out there that you are coming on the show, we had a huge amount of fan questions for you. So thank you for taking out time just before your fight. And it's an honor to be talking to you today.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're working on a couple of deals right now. Nothing that we can announce yet, but we should have some great news for India very, very soon.
Never really had any problems with anyone outside of school, so usually like I was super friendly growing up, and so luckily I didn't have to ever pick a fight on the street.
Yeah, I will. We're sure no one wanted to with you.
You can't have a regret about your thumb nearly snapping off. Okay. I mean, like it happened. I mean, I would have liked to have fought him, you know, especially because like in 2013 or 14 he wasn't what he is right now, you know. And like he himself has even admitted, unless you have some size and some length on him.
That's what I was going to ask.
Beat him. I was saying this same thing already in 2014, that anybody with any kind of reach and a knowledge of boxing is going to beat him, because he's the one that is always relying on reach. He's the one always relying on making the fighters chase him, you know, and a fighter with reach. Who's the only fighter with reach that he's faced?
Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz. All right. So a couple years later, he does exactly what I said would happen to him when this type of thing happens.
Oh yeah, my parents they're traditional Indian parents.
Yeah.
They wanted me to be married by the age of 22. I should have had about 3-4 kids by now.
Yeah.
Should have had a good I should have been working a salary job, working my way up the corporate ladder. This was far from their plans that they had for their son. So I first told them this. They thought it was just kind of a hobby, and they know that accounting was a very tough course I was taking out here. The school I was going to was a very hard school to become an accountant at. So they thought maybe, I used to work out here and there back home. Here, the scheduling was so tough that I never got time to do it. So they thought maybe I was just trying to do something like that. But they didn't know how much of an obsession mixed martial arts became. And so when I called them and I told them, listen, this is kind of what I want to do, my parents were ready to kind of just come down here and sort me out real quick.
Yeah, I can imagine. They must have wanted to like slap the shit out of you.
जब मैंने उनको टेक डाउन दिया था पंच के थ्रू तो उन्होंने मुझे बुलाया भी नीचे मेरे अपोनेंट ने हाँ इशारे से नीचे आ जा कि आजा करके ऐसा बट मुझे तो मैं नहीं आता मैं नहीं आता नीचे बट मुझे वहाँ पे फंसना नहीं था
Just if you want me to give you an answer on focusing just on India, I've been fighting here in India, and what I see is fighters who have passion. Every country, all the fighters have passion, but when it comes to India, the one difference that I see is we were talking about the fighters and their fights. I know that the fighters are not made for giving speeches, nor am I, but so I understand that. But when I saw Abdul Munir fight with Masvidal Fulan, and we were discussing about that fight today, and what I said was one important thing is that everybody in the crowd in Bahrain, when they're watching the fight and they saw Abdul Munir coming out of with the Indian flag, and they saw Masvidal Fulan. If you guys don't know who Masvidal Fulan is, he's considered the #1 up-and-coming prospect in Mexico, and he's fought in the UFC, considered as one of the largest promotions till Brave Combat Federation comes in. But he's one of the biggest stars we have in Brave Combat Federation. And Abdul Munir, when I gave him a call and I told Munir, you're going to fight Masvidal Fulan. He went out, searched who Masvidal Fulan is, and the next call I got back was, I'm in.
And you recently tweeted, something about Jake Ellenberger's win, that he threw a desperation kick that landed on a dude with zero defense walking forward. Easy money, Obi. Did you want to just expand on that a bit?
I think Jake there's different types of fighters in this world, and Jake is more of a fighter that fights scared, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's been a lot of good fighters that fight scared. He's one of them, he fights scared, he fights nervous, that's why he throws everything into each shot, and that's why he gets tired so fast, because he's nervous, he doesn't know the outcome of the fight.
I'd like to ride around in a wheelchair, not move my arms and legs for a long time, get real fat. Coach from the wheelchair and shit, like that kind of coach in the gym. I don't make it to the fights, but I'm in the gym. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have to stay around the gym a little bit because, man, I'm gonna get fat for real. So I like to do that a little bit, and I don't know. Or maybe it's time to grow up and get a real job. Who knows? I got to do something with the fight to get rich here. This is getting crazy.
Oh man, it was an amazing feeling. I felt so good because this man has beaten me twice before when I first started, and then I knocked him out so definitively, so absolutely sure. There was no discrepancy if I won or not. He went to sleep, and I was happy.
So hope you enjoy this, and a lot more episodes and a lot more UFC and MMA stars coming your way. Thank you for joining us in 2016. 2017 will be bigger and better. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye from the MMA India team.